readers. That's
I know that's something that I can't see from your side of it.
just meeting pickup plus guests.
No, then when I got my contacts in, I can't see. I didn't see anybody that couldn't attend today.
Is Blake or anyone from architecture gonna be popping on, or are they gonna be here?
They're not
Okay.
gonna be here tonight.
Okay.
It's just us.
Okay.
We, they're planning on being here at the next meeting.
Okay,
But they were here earlier for the dog input meeting.
It is neat that they're Middleton residents. Very cool.
I think that's nice to be able to say to
Totally.
everyone, but
Yeah.
also we have some really good
You bet.
consultants that aren't too,
You bet.
but
Yes.
it is a good selling point for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry about that, guys. My meeting went to the last second.
Yeah, one whole minute left.
I do?
Yeah.
yeah.
You can put your official one out.
That's nice. There's the substitute
Yep.
songs.
What was your other meeting, if I can ask?
Oh, Community Development Authority, we had a joint meeting with, affordable housing, and then we had our own CDA meeting after that.
Wow.
That's a
That
good
is a
use of
topic.
staff time.
All right, it is 7 o'clock, so I'll call to order the October 20th Parks Rec Forestry Commission meeting. Kelly, do you have roll call?
We have all members present except for, our Aria Trucios is not present with us. We have a quorum.
All right, so it has been several weeks since we last met, so our first order of business will be to approve the minutes of our last meeting from September 15th. Does anybody have anything they would like to change in those minutes? Right, hearing none, I'll accept those minutes as submitted. On to the new agenda items. First one will be comprehensive, the corp plan update timeline.
So something we wanted to put together is a timeline that really just goes through the entire project. So the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan that will be for the years of 2027 through 2031. Why is that? That feels so far away, but through 2031, it'll be a 5-year plan that encompasses all of our current and future park improvement needs for the community, and this is a timeline for that work plan. It helps really detail out what tasks are and approvals may be needed. It doesn't mean that we can't add something in to this process or things can't be changed around as far as timeline, but it really gives us kind of a layout of how this project will be moving forward through the task plan and through the approval plan. As you can see, we already had the project kickoff meeting with staff and the consultant field work. They're currently underway with that. And I think they're wrapping that up pretty quick. They're visiting every single park site and taking pictures of every site right now. And then we're looking at public pop-up input sessions. And these would be, we had decided that they would be geared towards the high school and middle school students. So we're looking at the best opportunities, and Lily, maybe you have some ideas on how to add a pop-up event to get input from middle schoolers and input from high schoolers. I think doing a lot of planning processes, we get a lot of the adult or older adult population, but we don't always see youth. And with our parks, that's really important that we get that youth input. So we're looking at 2 pop-up sessions and have to work through with the school district on getting those scheduled and implemented. And then the community survey, we're just working on finalizing the questions for hopefully a what looks to be a 5-minute survey, easy for everybody to take and trying to get as much input as possible. Opening that, at the end of this month and all the way through January, end of January, trying to get as much input as possible through that survey. And then, we have a Parks Rec Forestry Commission goal setting meeting tonight we'll start on that process, but we're trying to really, hone in on the vision and goals of the corp, and make sure over the next 5 years, what do we want to do and what do we want to see, out of our Parks Rec Forestry division or, department. And then, we will be holding stakeholder interviews, and stakeholder interviews are for groups such as any friends groups or organizations that are user groups, Middleton, Baseball, Softball Commission, Corp Trails, that is a volunteer group that helps maintain our bike trails. I'm just naming off of a few off the top of my head. Potentially Friends of Pheasant Branch, but we're looking at gearing towards our parks and that. We're trying to get a list of all the user groups, and then having the stakeholder interviews where they will specifically say, we want to see this scoreboard improved at this facility, and we can get more of an interview timeline with them. But we're accumulating that list and sending out invites to those groups currently. And then we will have staff department meetings. So staff within the city, we're looking at having a meeting within our own department, and then also adding directors from other departments or staff as needed for planning, such as maps, for instance. We want to work with planning or public works on that. And then we will have a public input meeting. Hopefully, I don't know if we'll need a bigger room than this, but I think after the dog park meeting we had tonight, we might need a bigger room.
I could
So,
hear
it
that
was-
sounded full.
It was very full, so I think we're
Wow.
gonna need a bigger room than council chambers. If I'm hoping we'll get more input than that as well. And then, once we have all the input and we've gathered everybody's feedback that we can gather through the city, we'll have an internal draft review and get that draft plan together, and the city will provide feedback, and trying to get that first draft ready for Pure FC to review in April. And then we'll have a public comment form open just to review that, or any comments on that first draft will be open for about a week's time. In Conservancy Lands Commission for review, Plan Commission for review, and that first draft with all of those comments will come back for PRFC to take a look at and say yes, no, maybe so on any of those comments, and move forward onto the second draft. And the second draft will include all of your recommendations, and will be reviewed at a following meeting, and then the common council and recommended to common council. This is a very direct route on a plan review and adoption, but it gives you an outline of the steps needed to move towards adoption. And this document is submitted to the Wisconsin DNR and for adoption as well. So the DNR needs to have this on file when it's completed. But that's basically a summary of, and I'm looking for any feedback or questions or anything as Nick wants to direct out.
All right, yeah, I'll go ahead and offer some feedback if anybody wants to.
Yeah, I would like for Conservancy Lands, perhaps in these draft reviews of it, we could make it a joint meeting, since this is covering all Conservancy lands in addition to parkland.
It's covering recreation and and like it'll note on goals with trails as it goes to recreation.
So,
But-
this isn't, I mean, we have the Conservancy plan that was just adopted recently. And
So is this going to go follow that?
Follow
I
that?
don't think the conservancy lands, are generally not kind of like in the scope as much as this because conservancy lands has its own plan.
Right.
So this
I don't
doesn't
want to
really-
see conflicting things. That's what I'm concerned about is we'll get,
The conservancy land, like, typically as staff, we want all of our plans to talk, so
Mhm.
there are so many plans in the city. We have, maybe we'll take, for example, what is that, or the adaptive transportation, is that?
restoration.
No. Adaptive transportation plan, it's like ped bike plan, basically, so we want it to talk to that. We don't want it to say, we're doing this, and that plan says, we're doing this. We want them to kind of fold together and be, supporting each other, and so
Kelly,
we-
that's what I'm
we-
suggesting.
We know as staff that what the CLP, which is our conservancy lands plan, what that says, so we try to make sure they talk to each other, but we will have time for the Conservancy Lands Commission to review that plan and provide comments and
Mhm.
feedback. I don't know that there needs to
We're
be a
not going to
joint.
see anything different from what's in the Conservancy Lands plan. That's what I'm
No, they
concerned
should,
about.
they're gonna complement each other, so, but no, there shouldn't be any conflicting goals or anything in there.
Sketchworks is aware of the plan and has a copy of it.
They have a copy of 15 plans that feed into this
Okay.
plan.
That's,
15.
A lot of plans.
All right, any other feedback?
Just a curiosity question, how do we disseminate the community survey? How many ways
Yeah.
do we get it out to people?
That's a really good question. We will get it out through all of the channels that we possibly can, from everything from yard signs to flyers to social media. We have our Civic Send, which is our listserv. So if you go on the city's website, and you are on the main page, and you are like notifications and you sign up for Parks Rec Forestry notifications, we send blasts out that way. Middleton Minute will get information out. We'll have information on our website. We will have, we could potentially look at electric sign and message boards. But we'll get it through several avenues. We can look at Peach Jar through the school district as well. But we basically have a long list, and I'm not being super comprehensive. I don't have the full list, but it's nice to document how we get out that messaging, because if people ask and say, I never saw anything, I like to say, here's all the ways we try to communicate. Is there a better way that you'd like to be communicated to? But really good point and really good question.
Is
Those are.
it possible that if there are yard signs that we committee members could have them in our yard?
And could you help place them out? That would be super cool
Yeah,
too.
I'm
Yeah.
sure we would
Yeah,
have that.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get on those for sure.
How do you find out stuff as
I-
a young person if we want to get more young people?
Yeah, I can't say that I
What was
would
that
think.
question?
I was asking how she, as a young person, if we want to capture more of that, how she gets information or how she finds out what's going on, because you're very linked in. So how
Yeah.
do you find that out?
I would say for the most part, everything, like I think most city stuff I would get through the school. I would hope I would get it. I can't say a lot of kids know to like look at
No.
the city website.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people do follow like the Parks and Rec department on Instagram though.
Yeah.
So that's a really great way. I know a lot of people like to repost that stuff as well. So I'd say, as young as it sounds, we do check our phones a lot. So I'd say Instagram, social media are probably the best ways, as well as just like school emails. They send us a lot of, they like full blast those a lot. And we got a few of those. Like the interest form for this committee was on a school email a few years back and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, we can connect with the school's marketing personnel and see how else we can. That's good.
Any other feedback on the timeline?
Are you looking right now for like, or like what I think might work for like the public pop-up stuff, or is that a later?
No, that would be good now, cause we gotta get action on that right, or sooner. The pop-up meeting at the high school, how could we gather as much input as possible and give out links to the survey? Like how could we get students to take the survey so we don't have just, um, um, 35 plus, filling out the survey? How do we get, young adults, taking that and knowing about this and coming to the public input meeting? Yeah.
If you wanted to do an information kind of session in person, I would say connect with the school and try to come in during ASR maybe. It's like a kind of like our study hall time of the day. And lots of times colleges come in or stuff like that. There's been other groups that come in to talk. So that might be a good time to capture like an audience while they're at school. If you want to just have a form that's shared out, it might be easiest to share it with I know both the middle school and the high school have green teams. Those are going to be your most like engaged, both civically and environmentally people who would be very happy to like lead the cause in getting this shared out to people in their school.
Okay.
I could bring this to the high school green team, and I think it's Miss Pittner at the Cromrie Middle School who runs the green team there. I think those are going to be your people that would be happy to reach out to fellow students or sign up, set up posters and stuff like that, put it in the morning announcements.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Middle schools even have those TVs that
Those-
you can
Yeah.
get announcements on the TVs in the hallway.
Yeah, we gotta try to get the school buy-in on this. Sometimes they're like, this is the only way outside groups can share like school information.
Yeah.
So however, we can work with the school district staff to know that this messaging is really important, or like this connection is really important. But green team
Yeah.
and any other ways, email, message boards and things, right? I like that ASR time.
Okay, other feedback? Did, you said, you know, I was unable to make it tonight, but seeing, you said it was a packed house and here standing room only for just dog parks.
Mhm.
Is one public input session gonna be enough for a bigger project like this?
We could take a look at would be an increased, contract cost with them to do another public input meeting. I asked if, I think with those public pop-up sessions and the survey and the comment form, or maybe we can have an additional comment form online, for a longer term. We could look at that, but we could ask if that's something the commission wishes to have another public input,
Okay.
time.
So I was guessing, you know, you kind of indicated that the public pop-up input sessions might be geared towards the schools.
Yep.
But would they also have some that are geared towards the community? And I know that, you know, this time of year, November, there's not a whole lot of community events to have a pop-up session at.
We struggled with where else would we have a public pop-up at?
Mhm.
But, I don't know, does everybody think like having more than one public input session is important? And, we could definitely take a look at another input session.
Or at least
If-
like a couple times, you know, for the public to offer, you know, even if it's just like more informal as opposed to, we're gonna come to City Hall and have everybody here.
like a form to fill out, like a quick little jot form?
Um,
Or what do you?
no, what I'm
think,
saying
Mike?
is like, I'm thinking back when
A
the
Zoom?
city redid the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
And Mark had hosted a few different public input sessions, some of them at the middle school. I think there's one at the library, at, you know, more at public locations, so the public could come in, give their input on the zoning ordinance, and then use that to kind of help build it. Kind of informal, you
Yeah.
know, open house type style where, you know, we're gonna go from, you know, 7 to 8 at the library, come in and give your input, you know, not like and so people can come in, they don't have to stay for the whole time. It's not gonna be like a big public meeting.
Mhm.
That's, I guess what I'm thinking when I'm hearing pop-up input sessions, that's kind of what I'm envisioning
Okay.
that's gonna look like, but I'm not sure if that's what their vision is.
I think we only have like in the agreement right now. We have like two of the school ones and then the big one.
Okay.
But if we did another one, if you guys wish to do another one, we can look at adding that on, but it'll be an additional fee onto their contract
Okay.
that they have with us, which isn't a bad thing. We were under budget
Mhm.
on that, but that's up to the discretion of the commission, if you would like me to move forward in
Okay.
that direction or not, so.
Golly, I think with as many people here tonight, just for dog parks, a second one, I mean, this is covering a whole lot more interest, would be a really good idea. And I mean, some of us could even get involved in
Yeah, and
taking information
and the
so on.
timeline is challenging, right? Cause you're covering December and January, which are two very challenging months for many reasons, to have public input sessions. And I haven't even looked at the calendar to figure out, and just like, if you have two of them in January, that's fine, but
We can look at early February
Okay.
too, or,
Mhm.
like,
and maybe it could be a situation where maybe after we have the other ones and we get through tentatively January 21st, I'm guessing that's what that is. If we find, wow, there's a huge demand for that meeting, then you can subsequently schedule another meeting. Maybe you don't have to do it ahead of time.
I like to, if we're doing messaging, probably like
Yeah.
push out, here's two times
Mhm.
versus like kind of waiting and
Mhm.
see, then we don't get out enough information, then we add it, I don't know.
And there's just lots of people that might not be able to come on that one set date that could have very valuable information or comments.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we'll have a public input meeting, a comment form and survey. And then we can look at another public input, like, and when I say public input meeting, public information meeting, they are like an open house
Mhm.
feel. They will be, it's not gonna be like one person stand up and have a microphone. And it's gonna feel like, we want everybody to feel welcome to share their ideas, and I think not everybody feels comfortable speaking in a room full of people, so how can we gather?
The
That-
format tonight was ideal.
Yeah, that's good. They did a good job.
Any other feedback? All right. If there are none, we'll head on to our next agenda item for tonight. To be reviewing the corp plan goals and objectives.
All right, I thought I had this pulled up. Oh, yep, I do. All right, so if you need extra reading material, we have the corp, plan, from our current corp plan, that you can go through, but on chapter 3, we have our 8 goals that were prioritized. And, we're gonna have some time. I'm gonna give you guys, a chunk of about 15 minutes here. I have all 8 goals posted on the wall over there, and you guys have a stack of sticky notes sitting in front of you. I have some pens located over here, but what I'd like to have everybody do is put a tick mark next to their top 3 goals that they like, and basically say like, this one we should keep, or in some format, we should keep this goal. And we also have a notepad for other goals, so maybe you don't see something and up there that's related to barrier-free access, or some goal that you think we as our department should really focus on, or we as the city Middleton Parks and Rec should really focus on. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to write out an entire goal and a whole sentence, but maybe it's key words that you think we should include in our goals. Tonight is really a brainstorming session on where should our focuses be. So something we're trying to focus on is financial sustainability within our recreation services. I want to highlight that somewhere through our 8 goals. It doesn't have to be a singular goal, but I'm just trying to get get your ideas here. So I'm gonna read through our 8 goals, so we know what those are. And then I'm gonna give you time and you can chat amongst each other up there. You can ask me questions or Kevin questions. We can also stand not next to you, so you have some free time to think separately from staff to come up with some key themes that we should focus on. So our first goal, every resident has safe access to quality park and recreation facilities and programming regardless of income, age, race, ability, or geographic location. Goal number 2, provide sufficient parkland and amenities to meet current and future recreational needs. Goal number 3, develop, improve, and operate the city's parks and recreation programs in a cost-effective manner. Goal number 4, coordinate park development efforts with other city departments, other units of government, the City of Middleton, Cross Plains School District, and supporting organizations. Goal 5, provide residents with safe and reliable recreation equipment throughout the city park system. Number 6, provide a seamless network of trails that provide safe and comfortable access. Number 7, provide adequate management and staffing levels to oversee the maintenance of park and open space lands and facilities. Goal number 8, parks and open spaces will be designed to be as aesthetically pleasing as possible. So those were our 8 goals that we had a part of our last 5-year plan. Our new goals, I do not want to see over 8 goals, so, nothing higher than 8 goals. If we stick to around 5 to 8, that is a healthy number. I would just like to really figure out from you all tonight where some of our higher focuses need to be. And nothing is right or wrong. I just want to take that information from you to draft up new goals. So a new set of 8 goals from our staff team and also from our meeting with you tonight, so that we can come forward with a new draft of goals to look at our next meeting and hopefully take action. I really want to have this goal and our vision of what we want the next 5 years to look like coming from you and from staff, so that when we have our stakeholder meeting, when we have public informational meetings, we have our goals identified of where we want to be and how they can help us be the best parks and rec system for the city of Middleton. So I don't want to give you any more influence, but if you have questions on your task at
Well, we
hand.
can keep some of the goals if we think they're important, yeah?
We can definitely keep all 8 and be, or we can keep some of them, or we might want to look at, let's just,
Combine some.
you could combine some, that's good. And like so the first one, and I kind of theme them. So this is barrier-free access. How do we provide recreation facilities and recreation programming that reduces the barriers and helps support as much use as possible, no matter what ability you have, right? And then provide sufficient parkland and amenities to meet current and future recreation needs. We're just trying to look at a system that meets all the current needs that comes out of the public input, but then also future in the next 5 years, what needs might come out in the future. We don't want to limit it ourselves. So does that help?
Yeah, Kylie, actually, I would suggest 1, and I think it's 6
and I'm
could be
gonna-
combined.
I'm gonna let you work as a team, and I don't want to be more influential, and you can go write your notes on a sticky note. I have markers and pens right here. But I'm gonna give you until 7:45, so 15 minutes to kind of work. I gave them pads, if you want to hand out pens and markers, that would be
Yeah,
great.
that would be.
Then you
something
can
to ask,
talk
like,
with
does
them,
the
and
order
then I don't
matter?
have to tell you my opinion.
Does the order matter?
Not right now.
Okay.
None of the order matters, just if you want to like mark ones that you want to keep or like words you want to keep,
Okay.
add all of your notes up there.
Ooh,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you, sharp eye.
Yep, you got a pen or a marker? I think Kevin has some. There you go.
We never did.
Not that one.
Yeah.
Never did the annual
Kevin.
meeting goals.
All right, yeah. Sir, no, write all over it. It's totally fine.
So one check mark or three check marks, one by each one that you really like and want to keep. You have three marks, you could put them all three
And
in
you
the
can
same
ri-
goal, to put one on each of the three that you like, and then whatever notes you want to see.
Yeah,
3 marks or, yeah.
what, yeah, however you wanna do it. You can tally it up on the top. Or you can use your sticky note. I don't care.
So I think you pick your top 3 and make a check.
Yeah. I'm not always good at explaining the
With
rules.
this, we should have took some of those circles.
Yeah, and put 3 dots next to your top favorite, yeah. There can be talking amongst each other. So, like. It's being recorded right now. So, yeah, side conversations later, Kevin.
Other people are doing it on post it.
Flourish. You can add that in and I can make sure that that meets the thought. Or, yeah, or like, development, what is a park? Definition of a park. Yeah, I know about many about that. And I also. Work plans. I was looking at like this season, they're like, I know, I guess it's like, I took a look at one of our statements. So. It's like working in the schools. I think so.
Check 3, but you can write notes on others or like.
Sure. Just not all of them.
You, like, you, like, if you envision where we want.
It's cold in here. I hate it, and there's some vent right
Yes.
above here.
I don't, I have balloons, they've made this, that cover vents if you want one in my office.
Oh. If I only knew where it was.
It just feels like it's coming at you.
Just like there's a breeze.
Yeah, it does feel cold.
But I don't see anything but the light fixtures.
Writing things all over.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
good.
I see them now. Michelle,
Yes,
they're over there.
yes, and they're
hard
just,
right at us.
yes. Mhm,
Yeesh.
mhm. They probably don't have a variable speed or something. It's just full
No.
blast. Whoops, excuse me. Do people use QR codes?
QR codes? Yeah. I would say if it's just like one that's like put up in a poster in the hallway, people might not read it. But if it's in the morning announcements,
Mhm,
or like, I guess it's not technically the morning for us, it's an advisory,
Mhm.
but people are more likely to scan it then, or at
Mhm.
least like some advisory teachers are like, you should do this thing, do this now.
mhm, 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 mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so goal number one was all about like reducing barriers. We felt like reducing barriers is important to keep in some theme of a goal. How that's written, do we all agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then goal number two is provide enough parkland for residents. And it's talking about like quantity of parkland, so we need to and the need or to meet the needs. So we need to make sure we have X amount of parkland. So if it's written into our recommendations, there might be something the National Park and Rec Association recommends to have 11 acres of land per 1,000 residents. That would be something identified in our plan. I'm not going to read everybody's comments out loud or anything, but we'll take a look at those as staff. Goal number three, develop, improve, and operate the city's parks and rec. So this is all about cost effective and do you guys think this means to you, or would you like to see in the next 5 years like cost effective so that reduces the barrier to participate, or what do you think about when we think about money as it relates to the programming? Or how are we viewing that? Sustainable, affordable. So sustainable, affordable. Okay. All right.
Feedback right now, or you just talking?
Yeah, I'm happy for feedback if
Well, I was just
anybody
gonna
has
say that
comments.
I think, there's always that fine line of like, if you lower the price a little bit, then maybe you attract more people and it becomes a stronger program. So that's where I was kind of thinking with that too. Like, obviously you don't want to make it so that you're losing money on it, but You know,
Yeah.
rather than having to be more expensive, but only a couple people sign up, it's more community building, if more people can make it.
Yeah, more sustainable on how you offer your programming. Okay. Goal number 4, coordinate with other park development efforts with other city departments. It's coordination with other city departments, other municipalities and the school district. So I think there is an opportunity to add this in a way that might be with another goal or how that's written in, but I think that has to be a part of all of our operations all the time, is working with as many organizations as possible, because you won't make the best if you're just operating silo. So how we can write that, and then safe and reliable recreation equipment. So playground equipment, or even if that's our Stonefield tennis court with the big crack, like that has to be prioritized. So stuff like that. Goal number 6. Provide a seamless network of, so our trail system, and it can be combined maybe with another one. And then adequate management and staffing levels to oversee the maintenance. So staffing for maintenance is basically what that's speaking to. And I hope that we'll be able to, through the court plan, see how many park acreage and how fast that's really coming into play. Because you can see a lot of developments if you go on High Road, and there's 3 new parks just in that area. So we'll hopefully be able to see a map on like what that looks like for staffing too. And then aesthetically pleasing. So what does that mean? That's my question, because everybody has a different, aesthetically pleasing means different things to different people. That having, did you put that on there? Oh, that's something good to add on here is we want to keep as many trees, healthy trees in our park system. So that's a good thing, note to add, but okay, thanks. I just wanted to kind of go through that a little bit. I don't know if that helped anybody. Thank you for that exercise. I appreciate it.
All right, I think we're ready to move on to our next agenda item. That'll be the 2026 park shelter reservation fees.
This is a fee schedule. Our current fee schedule is our current resident rate and then our non-resident rate that we have. The items listed in red are the proposed changes from staff. With our indoor shelter going up $50 for the resident, and then combined, if you were to rent the outdoor and indoor shelter, that would go up $50 as well. So it's currently $250 and we're marking it at $300, and it's currently $400 and we'd be looking at $450. And then we also added Parisi Park shelter to the mix, as that will be rentable starting January 1st, not to be earlier than June 1st approximately, where that date is still, we have a month or so to make sure that we're on track with construction. So this is for you to review.
Okay. Any discussion?
So I think about hotel rates. Weekends are more expensive. So I know that, I just think if you make weekends more, then you'll get more infill during the week. Just a wackadoodle idea. Just keep it in mind.
To have rates cheaper during like Monday through Thursday.
Yep.
And we have and right now we have them all the same for kind of more efficiency. And if anybody transitions from another date to another date because they switch out, so that happens sometimes, that then they can transition to a different date, and then we wouldn't like have to mess with fees, but that it all can be doable. It's just what we've been practicing under is a standard rate no matter what the day, so that we can divide the cost. Typically, we don't get, so we don't rent out Lakeview, indoor Monday through Thursday because we, for the most part, for the majority of the time, because we, use it as a rec center, as another rec room, and we program all the nights, and days as possible. And then we leave it reservable Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but that's just for Lakeview indoor, just as a.
Bless you. Side note, so. I just think, if it's during the week, then it makes it more affordable for people too. If you were to change it, because we want things to be affordable for everybody. So that's just another way of looking at it besides more nights being reserved potentially, so.
Especially during the summer. I can see in the summer, you're gonna have a higher demand probably. And by shifting some more to the weekdays, because it sounds like we're not filling those up as much. This could provide more opportunities for more people.
I was gonna ask about the data, if you can pull reservation data from this year
Mhm.
to take a look at weekends versus weekdays to
If-
see if there's like what the discrepancy is.
I mean, I would say that people are typically going to rent it Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mhm.
Like even if we had a lower rate, we're gonna see a big influx of Friday, Saturday, Sunday reserved. And we don't see as much weekday rental. But we do have some weekday rentals that will run, a night during the week, and I would like to, look at, like, do we use this, 2025 rates as the weekday rates and then increase the weekends? Or do we look at, reducing, this amount for the weekday rates, as well? So those would be options. We really are trying to cover, and so I can come back with more data for what's reservable or what's been reserved during the week at each of these, and then on the weekend, and I call the weekend Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that way we have some data on that, and then we pulled all the fees from all of Dane County Parks and Rec, to kind of look at. What's really hard is that every shelter
That's
and
so-
their amenities is very different, so we're trying to find the most like shelter for our seating capacity in that. So I can pull some more data for you to review these fees. And the fee structure and why or why not to go to a weekday fee. I think it's mostly for efficiency.
I think the most important thing is just the Middleton data. I'm less concerned about what parks in Dane County, what their fees are, because we might not even be equivalent on what we're providing. So really just focus on Middleton.
Yeah, I just always like to get like comparable rates to
Well,
like.
maybe at least just a list of the rates, but not necessarily the data of
No. Oh, yeah. we
who's
don't.
renting when and so on.
No, yeah, we just look at, look at other communities' fee structure, and fee schedule and look at that to compare to, but the usability of their shelters doesn't, affect our, operations.
I'm wondering how standard it is, the difference between the resident rate and the non-resident rate. Are you taking any loss on the resident rate? Is it typical for other cities to use the $200 gap? When I'm looking at like Lakeview, et cetera.
Like if we only offered it, if only residents rented out the shelter all year round, would that cover the cost of
That's what I'm
operations?
asking, I
Yeah.
guess. Thank you for putting it in better
Yeah.
terms.
Yeah, so there is a lot to pull there for, it's easier for some of the shelters to pull that data. I think the data that we will be able to pull is our cleaning contract, our utilities, some percentage of supplies, and maybe a small percentage of staff for maintenance or cleaning on the facilities to show what the operational cost is for each of these. And then I can pull a lot more data.
Well,
And-
I don't know that we need to swim in a lot of it, but is it better to go $100, like, okay, Lakeview indoor and outdoor, $100 different? Should we be closer to like keeping the $650 for the non-resident and charging $550 for the resident?
Oh,
Or do we stick with the $450 and just go to $550? $200, it's a great like incentive to go with a resident, but I'm just wondering which.
so, yeah, can I comment on okay. So assessing fees is really challenging without a methodology and a policy, right?
Yeah.
So our staff, our recreation staff is currently working through financial policy plan that we can come forward and figure out each service that we provide, what category it goes into, and what's the greatest common good, so we can understand how to better put our fees, and you guys would know, like, this needs to be 100% cost recovery or 150% cost recovery. Unfortunately, we don't have a financial plan of like, here's the methodology on how to structure our fees. And what we're doing right now is we base it off of a fees like in the area, what we've been at for years and how many years we've been at it. We haven't changed we didn't change fees for 10 years, and then we made a large jump last year with the PRFC. But when we're taking a look at fees for right now, this jump, I guess, for Lakeview Indoor was due to our cleaning contract increasing for that area. And then Precy Park, we didn't have a fee associated with it, so we were looking at applying a fee for that. But I think as we discuss fees in the future, it would be really nice to understand like the methodology of fee and pricing, because if I came to you with all the recreation fees for all the program classes, you would be overwhelmed with how do you structure and price out that program.
Yeah, 'cause I'm like looking at non-resident for easy. Why not just make it $200
Yeah.
from 190?
And we did, what's the difference there? It was a percentage, but not higher than. That's a good question that I can't answer tonight, and I should be able to answer that
Or
tonight.
the Lakeview Small Shelter for residents, $80. Yeah, make it $100. I don't know.
The small shelter is in such,
150.
Yeah.
the small shelter is in such bad
Oh, it
condition
is,
that like,
So I see you kept it from the same
I-
as last year, like,
yeah.
no one rented it, so
Yeah.
we're not touching it.
yeah. And it was kind of based off of, or it was based off of our usage numbers, based off of comparable, based off
Sure.
of not wanting to go into like a higher jump, because we did a big jump last year, and
Sure.
what can cover our cost. And we also budgeted for 2026. We put a budget together for 2026, and this is still hitting that target. So that's kind of all the
Sure.
information that I pulled together and
Sure.
why I made these recommendations, but I'm happy to get more data for a better decision tonight.
No, I'm just trying to simplify it,
Yeah.
I guess.
Do you have data for how many people rented Lakeview Indoor at the resident rate and how many rented it at the non-resident rate?
Yep, we have all of that data.
And that I see is really important, because I think Middleton residents should really have the first opportunity. And if we're getting a imbalance where there are more non-residents renting, then maybe we should raise their non-residents so they for sure are paying for everything and a little extra. making it better for residents of Middleton.
And yeah, there's different things where you could open up resident, rentals and January 1st and then leave it open for a month and then non-residents can't rent until February 1st or stuff like that too, but
But I'm thinking a difference in price, if there's a huge demand by non-residents, would make it more fair.
yeah, I think we get a pretty healthy mix. And I think we get a lot more residents renting, in Middleton. I mean, we do get a fair amount more residents renting than non-residents.
'Cause it should be predominantly residents.
And these are all day.
But
They're all day rentals.
Correct.
I think we toyed with the idea of seeing if you could do rentals, part day rentals, but I think the logistics of getting things cleaned and turned over was just too much of a
Like,
challenge.
tell them they have to clean up.
Oh, no,
Then
no,
there's the
No.
garbage.
then somebody has to go inspect.
it would not work. Let me just see.
And can you refresh my memory? Do we have a nonprofit organization rate for shelter rentals?
We do it, but it's only for resident nonprofits and it's only Monday through Thursday.
Okay,
Okay.
good. I thought we did. I just didn't see it on the table.
Oh, maybe it's right here. I'm so sorry. We need to get more data here, but this is just, the number of rentals, so we've gone up in the number of rentals, but Lakeview Indoor, this is only year to date, so we still will have to add in more if there's more
Yeah.
rentals.
Hmm.
And this is only number of rentals, not like resident or non-resident, but that data is easy to pull from our software. So. Just, for a quick review, I don't know if that's helpful.
That dropped from 2023 to 2024 for the Lakeview Indoor,
Mm-hmm.
100 fewer reservations.
So the price.
So
From which one?
Lakeview Indoor,
Oh, from 2023 to 2024.
And even from 2022.
No, it increased to 2023. It was probably after COVID, COVID was done by
It's
then.
Yeah.
2024's less than.
is that because of the price
2022.
increase from 2023 to 2024?
Probably.
Okay,
We still are covering, we closed down the shelter, Monday through Thursday.
oh, okay. And you
For
didn't do that in
recreation.
2023?
Not like,
Okay.
not, like throughout the entire year.
Okay,
So
Okay.
we started actively using like Monday through Thursday for all of our programming. But I'm sure the fee like dropped some people from not utilizing the
Mhm.
shelter. I can check into, we should make notes on some of this stuff too to help jog our memory.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the number of rentals there. Okay,
What is like a soccer field rent for? Like the Lakeview Park green space, just curious. I love seeing those little kids out there when they're out there at Lakeview Park, so cute.
I don't have that one off the top of my head,
Yeah,
but we
just
will be
curious.
talking about field rentals. We will be looking at field rental rates and field rental policies and courts for pickleball tennis. We're working on those right now.
Outstanding, yeah.
Yep. I feel like it's $30 an hour, but I don't know 100%.
so it sounds like we're not ready to make a decision quite yet because we want to see some more information. Is that kind of where we're at with everybody? Just to see the data breakdown of resident versus non-resident usage, weekday versus weekend usage. But you said we don't have the Lakeview Indoor for weekend or weekday, but you do rent the outdoor section out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so maybe we'll
We
come
rent
back.
all the other ones except for Lakeview Indoor. We get first dibs as the rec
Okay.
division.
So we'll be ready, this will come back to us then in a future meeting.
Yep, and
Okay.
would you like to see fee recommendations for, like weekend versus week of? Or would you just like to see the data, because I would like to be prepared as possible for decision making?
I personally would like to see the data.
Okay.
I would be very comfortable with the weekday rate being the 2025 rate and the weekend rate being the 2026 rate, but that's just my personal opinion on that one, and you know,
Would we do week of rate for all of the facilities?
it's a good question. The thing that we
Is
have
that-
to discuss that.
Cause that would be, I wanna make it as non-confusing to the community. So I can come up with a few different pay or plan options
Mhm.
maybe, like here's fee option 1 and fee option 2, our current and our couple options, and then we could take a look at that as like our
Okay.
flat fee and then a week of fee.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good. All right, our next agenda item will be park project updates.
I know we've been having this a lot on our agenda, but I think it's important. We have a lot of projects going on. The Lakeview Park Tennis and Pickleball Courts will be having a concrete pour day on Thursday, October 23rd. And what that means is from 7 till about 7 a.m. till about 4 p.m. There's gonna be limited or just a lot of activity of trucking going in and out. On Mendota Ave, there is a closure of Mendota Ave on the near University. Is that? Yeah, near University. So there's a current closure, but there'll be even more limited access. We're not closing the road at all, but there will be about 50 trucks going in and out with concrete delivery. So that will be we have electric signs that were posted today, and we're getting out messaging, but very exciting to get all the concrete work done. And we're gonna see where we can get to before the weather turns here for as much as we can. And then we'll pick back up in the spring season to finish up this project. And then in the Middleton Hills South, we're working on the shelter repainting there and Middleton Hills North. It was very rusty, shelter condition, and we are repainting both of those shelters. And Kurt is also, our parks foreman, is working with the parks crew to rebuild the basketball court, which it's slated to get paved this week, and new basketball hoops put up. So that is for Middleton Hill South. And then dog park improvements, we had our public informational meeting today. I don't know how many, Kevin, do you think were at this meeting? We'll have to count the chairs and plus extra because I didn't get a count on how many. But this entire room was filled, plus standing tonight, and we had a lot of public input. We have a public comment forum that is open until Monday of next week. October 27th, it will be closing, and we've been getting several comments a day on there. So we'll have a lot of input and feedback on an improvement plan, and we're basically looking to get from the consultant and staff to come forward and say, here's the several improvements we'd like to see at the unnamed Middleton MRD Highway Q Dog Park, that we're hoping to have a solid name for. And the dog exercise area that we're proposing to potentially move behind Adler Field and out of the drainage way that's located at Penny Klein Park. And so those two dog parks, we're looking at an improvement plan and projected costs so that we can build that in. There are dog park fees that for dog park permits that we do have revenue built up for some of those improvements. So we're hoping to utilize those funds for everybody that pays for the dog park to help with those improvements. But that'll be coming forward in December or January timeframe, I'm hoping, for an improvement plan. And the Parisi Park shelter has been leveled and put in a dumpster, and that whole site is getting prepped for construction and concrete work to get done yet this year. So there is no more shelter in that location as of last week. And then, Lake Street Park, I just wanted to give a heads up that we did fully construct that and had the grand opening. Now we're just, trying to establish all the landscaping is really important. We, have an area that, where the, riprap into the water has developed a natural wetland, of plants that are, deeply rooted, and it helps with the water, or cleaning the surface water, and is a really positive thing. There's a lot of native species within that, so we, Kevin and I had met with a ecological service to determine what to do with that area. And we are moving forward with anchoring it, and trying to keep all that vegetation over the winter and get it more established so that it's basically our shoreline restoration project for Lake Mendota that will help continue to clean water and have native species that help with all the wildlife and everything in that space. So that's part of our plan, but something that we tried to communicate as staff of how expensive this park would put on our operations. Our Lakeview Pier for removal and storage will be costing about $10,000 annually. To take that pier out and disassemble it on a barge, store it over the winter and put it back in. And so that's something that's having to go into our operational cost on an annual basis. But positive things there. We've been getting a lot of use and fishing activity, so.
Awesome. All right, on to the budget process update.
Oh, darn it, I was gonna pull this up. So, the budget process currently, where can I find this really easily? No, I didn't put the budget in here. So the, Finance and Personnel Committee is currently working on our budget, reviewing our budget, and I just wanted to show you what was approved and not approved, but if you give me 1 second here. I will pull it up. We'll go finance, budget, capital.
May I ask a question, Kevin, about the Lake Street Park?
Yeah,
So has the DNR been consulted in terms of that marshy area taking root and things like that? Do they have?
The DNR was we did a consultation with the DNR, previous to the ecologists, and they were supportive of that effort, maintaining that floating wetland.
Okay.
Yeah, I met with the DNR, and they did sampling of that area. And they basically said there was 2 paths forward. Is basically you can, keep all of the, native plants in the area and work through, just restoring that into the native wetland, or the other option was to dredge it. And I looked at similar prices or similar projects and quotes on similar projects, area and square footage, and it was around $700,000 to do a dredging at Spring Hills down on Lake Mendota from a barge. So I don't know if the space is that large. It might be $500,000 worth of dredging, but that was something I didn't feel like financially we had the temperament for or the budget for, so we were moving forward with something we can build into our operational cost, and it still meets the goals of the space for water. It still meets the goals for that space.
Cause when it was a boat launch, it always collected stuff there too, but then when the ice would come in and all of that, it would go out and then it would reform again in the spring. So it's just kind of that location is part of the factor, I think.
Yeah, the way the shoreline, if you're down there, you can see that there's, definitely a change from the neighbors on both sides where the area of Lake Street Park comes in and is sort of a natural area to collect things and I think, well, I was personally surprised at how things over the course of the season, even with storms coming in, stayed in there, and the efforts to anchor that'll just encourage that.
Mhm. Just curious, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the budget I'm showing you isn't the one on the agenda packet, but I'm just highlighting for things that have been approved or recommended so far for operational. The capital is tomorrow night for discussion, but they have recommended this, the rec staffing, which is the, marketing and outreach specialist, position, the conservancy lands technician, moving forward with aquatics, aquatics operational, rec programming. They denied or did not approve recommending seasonal staff support for Parks Forestry Conservancy. They did not recommend moving forward with forestry operations budget because they're gonna be looking at capital, increasing capital, and potentially rollover funds. They approved parks operating, funds. They did not approve conservancy operations. They did not approve the forestry technician, and they approved the reduction at the youth center so far. And that's at personnel finance committee level, and that recommendation goes forward to, common council. So they first got through the round of operational funds. They're moving forward with capital, discussion tomorrow night, and then, from there, they'll take a look at making that full recommendation to the common council. I don't know if anybody has questions on the operational budget, but that was part of the discussion. And then for capital, that's still in the works, but we, are really trying to advocate for forestry, including forestry. We're gonna take a really large hit, and see a very major decline in our forestry operations if we don't get additional funding in our operational budget or in our capital budget. We're gonna struggle very heavily to even, put together a pruning block next year.
Kelly, are they giving you a reason for cutting all the conservancy
And
forestry stuff?
I say not approved because we are at our baseline from last year, right? So we still have our
We
baseline.
still have the baseline. from
Baseline
last
for
year.
last year, but the problem, we had a baseline from last year, which was, inclusive of rollover funds from the year previous, in our
So-
operational, so
So it is a cut.
it's, they're not approving additional funds into the forestry, so we're at our, like, at the baseline level, yeah. But, I was just trying to, one way that you can always reach out to your elder and you can always show up for public comment at common council, and make a comment if you feel very strongly about, supporting any of our operations or capital projects. I know the recommendation that you all made, not everything can go through because there's not enough money in operational and there's not enough money in capital for all the city requests that come through, so.
Did they have a reason for not funding or
I,
funding what was asked for?
they don't have enough money, like, there's not enough money to, there's not enough of money to approve all the requests that
So
come
they're
forward.
cutting specific items and not others. Okay.
And this is, our capital, I can just run through it, the finance common council has not, made a recommendation yet, but they did say yay to this, or the ADA transition plan. They said yes to all the playground replacement plan, no to the Lakeview Park entrance reconstruction, no to the ADA compliance, yes to the Bauman Community Pool, yes to the compacted articulated loader, which will help forestry and snow removal. And then, they had no to the pruning block, yes to the athletic court maintenance, yes to the Lakeview Park pond treatment, no to the site amenities, no to the open air shelters, yes to the baseball field improvement, and then, this one, or that was all for 2026 that we requested up to there. The baseball field improvement and the, is from donations, so that wouldn't be a part of our capital funding. And then the Lakeview Park Pond treatments is a part of our special revenue fund, so that wouldn't be direct capital improvement monies. If, cause we have to put what bucket it basically is coming out of, so those two projects, that would be from a donated fund, and that would be from special revenue. And then that's all. So.
So we do have a donated fund? Do we have a 503 or no, or?
It would be from, I marked there that the MBSC requested a new scoreboard, so they could fund that.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, we don't have a, 501c3 that's directly linked, to the city.
Okay.
But that, good.
All right. No to ADA compliance. They said they did not recommend ADA compliance.
They said no to that. They asked about it, and I said, we're working on an ADA project that's gonna be in the spring. That one was, they wanted to get the transition plan in place first to earmark like what order it would get in. And since we are doing an ADA project in spring, because we're pushing back the project for Bergie Stadium firefighter memorial park until spring, because we didn't have enough time to get all the bid and everything all approved for
Okay.
winter season.
Okay.
But I just wanted to provide a budget update, because if anybody feels passionate and strongly enough and they really want to see something be funded, you're more than welcome to reach out to your alder, and reach out or provide a public input. And if you have more questions on the budget, I'm happy to help answer those or get you in touch with the right person, but I think it's important to keep you looped in, on the process.
All right. Thank you. All right, update on the Middleton Nordic Center and Central Cross Country Skiing Facility.
So this project, the CXC Outdoor Community Center, is anybody familiar with what that is, where that is? Some of you not. So, I will just show a map of where it's located. So we, if you do, it's in conjunction with our Middleton Bike Park. So if you know where our Middleton Bike Park, and I should have those.
The bike thing, but it's like an off-road.
So if you take Highway 14 from downtown all the way down to Schwartz Drive, this is Schwartz Drive. Schwartz Road, I always think it's Drive. And then here's an entrance access path road, up to a parking lot. The aerial image isn't updated, but our pump track, that was constructed is located here, and our trailhead to our 4 miles of bike trails is also, our 4 miles of bike trails are, located between here, and they run, they run all the way over behind the golf course here, so kind of at the end of the golf course over here. So that's where our Middleton Bike Park's located, and trails, we have 4 miles of trails, I think I already said that. But that's an access road to that. The CXC Outdoor Community Center was also formerly known as Erdman Park, and this has been on agendas probably, I don't know if you were around, but
Since at least
Nick-
2018.
Nick- So there was some information in previous years, but I don't think some of the newer members are privy to, everything that's taken place, in this, joint effort with, CXC, Central Cross Country Skiing, and I'll refer to them as CXC. So if I say that, it's Central Cross Country Skiing Organization. It's a joint initiative with the city of Middleton, and CXC, and this, project is, to really create an a year-round or outdoor recreation hub that provides access to cross-country skiing, hiking, and mountain biking. The city of Middleton Parks and Rec Department operates the Middleton Bike Park, which I, showed, what's up there, and, in the future years, we're looking at adding a shade structure and, signage for wayfinding and trail signage and, emergency location markers and such. And, the Corp Trails organization, which is one of our, partner organizations, helps maintain all of the trails up there. Over 10, around 15 years, they have helped develop and maintain the trail system that's up there. The trailhead used to be located, for our bike park and our bike facilities at the golf course parking lot, which is right behind there, and got relocated to this new parking lot. But, we've always had our bike trails located, on the golf course, property, but not a part of the golf course. It was in the wooded area.
So the new parking lot is the one way up by the pump track or?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's the new parking lot. Earlier this year, on September 16th, there was a groundbreaking event, CXC held at the site, and the groundbreaking, was, in celebration of the Middleton Nordic Center, which is their new building, and it's a, trailhead building for the CXC Outdoor Art Center, and their ski trails. And this building is, to include, equipment rentals, training area, offices for CXC, and space for community use. And they've raised several, dollars to support this effort. And right now, the city has been working on, in my time here, a lease rewrite and update, because back when the lease was, drafted, it was really a vision and a starting point. And now that there's more traction gained in this project, and we're at a point, where there's a lot more amenities and infrastructure, we need to relook at that lease and make sure that we're on the same team and on the same page of what that looks like. At our November 3rd meeting, we're, going to be coming forward with a draft of the lease. We will provide the old lease or the current lease in place and the draft rewrite, for you all to look at, the new conditions and terms, so that you can review that. And then, a part of that lease is outlining where the bike park, area is, which is really important to us, having access, for that space, and continue to provide access. And then, and also understanding kind of a master plan of what the future looks like in this space, so that we don't have to keep editing the lease and keep editing the lease. We can kind of operate under, a new document and a new term, moving forward. And so there's a CXC website if you're ever interested in, learning more about the, CXC Outdoor Center and what the, building is going to look like. And that, this building will not have restrooms that service the trails up there for public use. That was something I know came up for a question earlier, but just kind of running through the website, it has, the location and what, some kind of visual aids to what the building will look like up there. But I don't know if anybody has any other questions that I can help answer for, our future meeting to discuss the lease, but I'm happy to do some more research for you all.
When you say lease, is that regarding the land, or what is the terms of what the lease, does?
Okay, so the lease is because the land is city-owned property.
Yeah.
And all the trails are on city easement property. And, the lease is so that CXC can operate under those terms and conditions, on city property and on city easement. The building that they're gonna build is going to be city-owned. They're gonna donate it to the city. It will be a city facility, that they will be utilizing. So it's basically how are they utilizing our land and under what terms?
And when they're not using the building, will the city be able to rent it out and will it be usable for other events and activities, or what are the parameters of that, do you know?
Yeah, there is language, on the lease that, highlights when we can use it or when, and then, that there would be a fee or how that works, but I don't, know how much use we'll look at, utilizing that at the moment. We'll have to kind of see.
It'll be a gorgeous facility, yeah.
Yeah, the city, this is land that was donated to the city by Dan Erdman quite a few years ago. So the city didn't have to pay anything to get the land.
It is a benefit for the facility not to have to pay taxes.
It backs up to their land on Blackhawk or something around there for the Erdman family, or no?
Though I didn't quite hear all of it.
That's correct.
Okay.
All right, on to our final agenda item, which would be liaison reports. So we had plan commission last week. There was a public hearing for rezoning application. There's gonna be development north of Century Avenue between Parmenter Street and the Beltline. They would like to build, I think it's like a hotel plus 6 apartment buildings, 4-story apartment buildings there. A lot of discussion about the size of the apartment buildings. Could they go higher than 4 stories? Could we have some mixed use? So some of the buildings have commercial retail space on the first floor to create a little bit more walkability over in that area. Also, their initial drawing, they just gave it kind of like a concept overview, a drawing of it, had no parkland, and given the size of the development and the location, suggested that they maybe reconfigure their design to include some parkland, because that the closest parkland to that area would be about a half a mile away, and to a park that's not built yet. So, and we're trying to prevent future planning and parks commissions from trying to pigeonhole parkland into places that are not ideal for parkland, let's just put it that way. Try to build the parkland when we can, get as much as we can when we can get it, so that all of our residents can be serviced by parks. This upcoming plan commission meeting, the agenda has not been posted, but I believe there's been a public hearing that has been posted regarding the rezoning. Well, it's kind of a twofer. It's a request to change the future land use map and also rezoning application for the Imperial Garden site. This has been in the news, that there's an applicant who would like to redevelop that site, but needs 2 things to be changed in order to do so. So if you are passionate about that location of that project, you may come to the public hearing at 7 o'clock on Tuesday night, and state your position on that project. So that's about all from Plan Commission. Has Conservancy Lands met in the last month?
We didn't meet.
Okay. That being said, all of our agenda items are complete. So thank you all for sticking it out tonight, and have a wonderful night. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
You're adjourned. I don't know if I had to actually say we're adjourned.